In this video, I am going to talk about all the five senses, what I call SSTTH: seeing, smelling, touching, tasting, hearing, using all of these five senses towards selection of ingredients, making the food and enjoying. I was listening to a lecture by Jiddu Krishnamurti, also referred to as Mr. K, who is one of the greatest philosophers, and his teachings have inspired me quite a bit. I was watching one of his videos, which was on a different subject relating to meditation, wherein he was referring to using all the senses and get immersed so that the meditation happens spontaneously, not something that is induced. Anyways, I got some ideas out of that into applying in the life, and I found that actually it relates quite a bit to how we make food, how we consume them, and how useful it will be to use all the five senses. When it comes to seeing, I think this is the most important thing. There are certain restaurants which are dark, completely pitch dark. Well, the experience is unique definitely, but at the same time, it is not something that is the most enjoyable ones, and therefore we don't do it on a regular basis. When we are choosing foods, pay attention to how the spots are, how the darkened spots are, how the fruit is looking like. Are there any dark patches? Are there any ditches? What is the shape of the fruit or the vegetable, and so on, the color and so on, right? So we do impart quite a bit of importance to seeing. In fact, we cannot think of consuming food or making food without seeing. When somebody is cooking or cutting in the raw food or blending, I can't imagine making food without actually seeing what is happening. That is the importance of seeing. It's very, very important. And when we are consuming also, we want to see what we are eating. Therefore, seeing is very important. What about smell? Yes, smell is definitely important. Many items, when we select the ingredients, we actually smell. Watermelon and several other fruits, mango, several fruits, we tend to smell whether the fruit has completely ripened or not. So you check the condition of the fruit, in some cases vegetables as well, by smelling it. If you find a food which is invigorating to you when you are making it, you want to consume it immediately. When I have an orange peeled off, digestive juices start flowing as we smell a very interesting dish or a fruit. What about touch? Touch is definitely important. Touch is so important. When we select the fruits or vegetable, we touch and feel, and that is how we choose the vegetable or fruit as well. In India, all of us eat food with our bare hands. What are the advantages? Number one, if the food happens to be quite hot, you know it immediately before you put it on your tongue, and that is very important. If the food is too cold and it may not be of your liking, you know it immediately. The feeling of touching the food, what we are eating, gives a certain amount of excitement to eating whatever food it is. If I put my fingers into a cut mango that I am dipping in a little bit of chili powder and salt, the feeling is amazing. Just the touch is amazing. In case of cooked food, those who have meals, when they combine the food with their hands, the feeling is amazing. When I am mixing ingredients, when I am making the raw food items, many of the energy balls, as I press and make the energy balls, the feeling is amazing. When I am trying to put it into my mouth, the senses are aggravated, they are switched on immediately. Now that it is getting into the mouth, therefore the juices have to start flowing in, so the digestion can start happening from the saliva in the mouth itself right at that moment. Now what about taste? Taste has always been the right, that is the height of everything that we eat. What about choosing the ingredients? Yes, when we are choosing the ingredients also, several times we tend to see the taste of the ingredient itself. How does it feel? Based on that, either we choose that or we abandon that because it may not be the right one. For example, if I am adding coconut and by chewing a small piece, if I find that it is very very hard chewy in nature, I may not add it. Or yellow cucumber, when we use, some of them turn out to be bitter. So I taste a small piece and find out whether that can be used or not. And definitely while cooking, while uncooking, in the case of raw food recipes that I make, each of these cases or both of these cases, sometimes we might actually taste the food as the process is happening itself, right? So that is what happens during the selection of the ingredients and the processing of the food itself. What about eating? Eating is something that I don't have to explain. We all know the importance of tasting when we are eating the food. The very reason most of us eat is not because we are hungry, not because we think the body is requiring the food. It is because we just enjoy the taste of the food. And that's how taste is extremely crucial, and it happens more or less automatically when we consume the food. What about the last piece, hearing? This is where the importance of this video is about. I want you to pay attention to hearing as well. And again, we do it unconsciously many times. All I'm requesting, suggesting in this through this video is to do it more consciously. During the selection of ingredients also, sometimes we do use the consciousness of sound. For example, when I go and select a coconut, many of us want to know how much water is there, how much tender is the coconut. We do not want to have a coconut that is very very hard with very less water. So what we do, we just take the coconut and shake it by the side of the ear, and by the sound of the water inside we can make out whether the coconut is full of water or not. If it is not making any sound, that means it is full of water. Therefore the meat or the flesh, as we call the white part in the coconut, is soft and fleshy, and we want to buy that. If it is making too much of sound, that means there is very little water and it will be very hard, very difficult to chew. We won't select that coconut. Likewise, there are several kinds of sound hearing that we pay attention to when we are selecting the ingredients. What about processing? Yes, processing also. When the blender or the food processor, when it is churning out the food, by the sound of it, I can make out whether the process is complete or not. And what about eating? Oh yeah, eating also. When you eat something crunchy, what happens? You hear the sound. So if you close your eyes and pay full attention to what you are eating, I think the senses are even more enhanced and the enjoyment is even more. So what am I suggesting in this case? In this video, what I am recommending is for you to try out using all the 5 senses when you are selecting the ingredients, when you are processing the ingredients, and when you are eating and enjoying the ingredients. The food, the recipe that you have prepared, try to use all of the 5 senses: seeing, smelling, touching, tasting, and hearing. When you do all of this simultaneously all together, hopefully, then you get immersed into whatever you are making the food or whatever you are eating the food. It's a very very enjoyable experience, and according to Jiddu Krishnamurti, although said in a different context, it is like meditation. You get completely immersed and then you consume it fully, 100%. So guys, maybe you want to try it out. So go ahead and then click that like button, share it with your friends if you think this is something that it could be of interest to them. Enjoy the day, whatever time is left for you. Have a nice day or evening. Bye bye.